I believe that must be that I am now live. I hope so. That's never going to become not a thing. It's always going to be the first thing that happens is, I wonder if I'm live. I wonder if people can hear me. Anyway, still 2:23. Sorry, folks. Sorry to let you down. But hey, give me a break. It was Christmas week. So come on. We all kind of relax Christmas week, don't we? Anyway, I know I certainly did. And on that topic, I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful Christmas, whatever it is that you celebrate. Thank you so much, Candy. We celebrate Christmas here, and boy, did we. It was a lot of fun. Everybody, including me, got spoiled. It was wonderful, and that's all I really have to say about that. The only people that I spent Christmas with are people in this house, which, is great. But at the same time, I didn't get to see my mother. I didn't get to see my sisters, my brother, any of Lisa's family. We didn't get to see anybody, and that was unfortunate. But we watched Wonder Woman 1984, and it was wonderful. So that's all I have to say about that. What do you think of the new setup? And I guess you're probably wondering, where's Lisa? I probably should have addressed that right off the bat. It's just something that wasn't going to be able to happen tonight, folks. I'm sorry. You have to deal with me and me only tonight. But that's okay, because we're going to have a lot of fun. But it just wasn't going to work for her tonight. That's really all I can say about that. But anyway, what do you think of this new setup here? Kind of a spoiler alert. If Lisa was here with me tonight, she was actually going to be sitting right here. We were going to have this shared, this side shared for us. Because first of all, I've gotten this looking really, really good. And second of all, the other side of the room doesn't really look like all that much yet. You want to see her sitting in front of the empty tank? We're going to be talking about that empty tank here in a minute. But we just thought that was kind of boring. It's a beautiful tank, but it's sitting there empty. So who wants to stare at that for an hour and a half? Not very many people that I can imagine. So instead, I was going to have us both set up here, and then she wasn't able to do it tonight. So it's just me. But this is something I'm working very hard on trying to get this looking more like I wanted it to look back when we first moved into this garage, more like, excuse me, a studio space. That's really what I was shooting for then, and it just never really got there. And you know what? I'm going to blame that on Lisa. I'm not going to say it's like because she's messy or anything, but because she filled this room full of tanks before, and there just wasn't the ability to do what I wanted to do. But now it's just me. It's just going to be my tanks and maybe one of hers. I don't think we've made that decision yet. So this is going to be the way I want it to be. And that's the way I want it to be. I've always wanted that kind of lit up colored wall. I don't know. I see that on other YouTube channels. I think it looks really cool. And so I totally copied that. I made it look like the back of the aquarium is glowing. It looks like a really elaborate kind of a thing. It's not. It's a $30 LED strip from Walmart. That's all that is. I got 3 of them, one for behind both tanks, and then one is going to go over there. You haven't seen that wall yet, but I got some new cabinets for that wall to display all of my John stuff, my bobbleheads, my toys, all of my collectible things that I have are all over there. And I have finally, I've wanted this for however many years now. I finally have a cabinet with doors on it that is for all of my camera stuff and audio stuff and computer stuff and all of that stuff. So you'll see that eventually. And there'll be one of those LED strips behind that too. I don't know. Makes a crappy garage wall look fancy. And that's what I was trying to do. So anyway, I'm happy with it. I hope you are too. You're going to be seeing a lot of this in videos. We're going to try to take a break from the green screen for a little while. And we're going to talk about that as we move into goals for 2020. But what was I going to say? I don't even remember what I was going to say. This is where it's nice to be able to have Lisa completely interrupt me. But we're taking a break from the green screen. We'll use it every once in a while, but not for all of our videos like we were doing before. So we want to mix things up. We want to do things in different areas, do fun little things like I did on the Sunday video with me walking in the park. Got a lot of very positive feedback on that. I thought it was terrible. The footage was good, but the quality of it was bad because I messed it all up. And anyway, it doesn't really matter, but I got the point across, and it was a lot of fun to just kind of stretch out a little bit and do something a little bit different. I loved doing that, and you're going to see more of that. Not more drone footage of me walking with a hoodie with my head down like I'm depressed. No, but there'll be more things that are just not just me sitting in front of an aquarium like I am right now. I want to mix things up, and the green screen just does not fit that plan. So, but anyway, I want to talk about saying goodbye to 2020, which I think we're all going to welcome that. And I want to talk about what we are going to do in 2021. I'm not talking about us. We're going to talk about us, but I mean all of us. What are we all going to do in 2021? Is 2021 going to be another 2020? I sure hope not. Or are we going to finally have things go back to normal and start being able to leave our houses again? I mean, I know technically in a lot of areas we can now, but are we comfortable doing that? No. And so having that comfort again would be a nice thing. But, you know, to kind of recap 2020 for me, and I speak for myself and for Lisa here, I want to say something before I do talk about that. And that is, I am completely aware of how messed up 2020 has been. I'm fully aware of the lives that have been lost all across the world. And it's been devastating. I mean, I get it. I understand it. But you're going to hear me say some things that might sound a little bit positive for 2020. And I want you to understand, I'm not trying to act like 2020 was great. Yay, let's have more of that. I'm not trying to say that because that would just be foolish and that would be irresponsible as far as I'm concerned. But if I'm being completely honest with you, professionally, 2020 was good to us. I mean, it was. It was something that it just so happens that Lisa and I are in a profession that benefited from people being stuck in their homes. People are looking for things to do. They're looking for new hobbies. They're looking for things to occupy their time. They're looking for something to distract them from the madness that was happening all around the world, not only from COVID, but from all the other things. And then we had an election. You know what I'm talking about. It was a crazy year. People were looking for a way to escape from that and enjoy something in their home. And they turned to aquariums. Lisa sent me an article. I don't recall where it was or you know, what news. I don't know, whatever. But there was an article about this uptick in aquarium sales and aquarium equipment sales and product sales and dry goods and fish and everything. I wish I had the article. I didn't even know I was going to be talking about this article, but I can't clear my throat. I'm sorry. That makes total sense. It makes total sense that this would have gone up. It makes sense that video games are doing really well right now. It makes sense that YouTube is doing really well, and Netflix and Disney Plus and all of this is all doing well because people are at home looking for things to do. And so it just so happens that we are in a profession that kind of works out pretty well for. So for us personally, 2020 was a great year I shouldn't say personally, professionally, it was a great year. Personally, not so much. Because I am someone, what is it, an introvert? Somebody that just basically wants to be home all the time? That's me. I want to be home all the time. And it's a beautiful thing that I met Lisa back in 2008 because she's the exact same way. Her and I would rather be home than doing anything else. So being stuck at home is not a bad thing for us. However, when you're forced to be stuck at home, when you have no choice, you can't go to baseball games, which is something that we love to do. We all love to go. The whole family loves to go. That's birthdays and things like that. We go to baseball games. Lisa and I like to go to hockey games. We like to do all of these things outside of the house. And oh yeah, Lisa and I, for the last couple of years, our vacations have been going to fish keeping events around the country. Chicago, New Jersey, Chicago, New Jersey. That's pretty much the only places we've gone. But this year we were supposed to go to that event with Fisherman Fever in New Jersey. In Tennessee, we were supposed to go to Dallas. We were supposed to go back to Chicago, and none of these things worked out. And when you're in that place where you have to stay home because none of those things are happening, that's when you realize, oh, this really is bad for me personally. Like, it makes me appreciate being able to go out and do those things. Like I said, I would choose being home over almost anything. I mean, I have no problem occupying my time. I have no problem entertaining myself. It's not a problem at all. I can easily find something to do, which usually means staring at this screen right here that's right in front of me. But I have no problem occupying myself. And this whole family has no problem doing that. But when you don't have a choice, oh, that sucks. That makes it really, really hard. And I'm really realizing now how much I miss that, how much I miss those things. Being able to go, I don't know, go to a restaurant and not feel weird. Go to a fish store and not have to wear the masks and not, I miss all of that. And mostly the sporting events, family gatherings, and fish keeping events. I miss that so much. So that's going to be what when we talk about moving forward into 2021, there's a lot of things that I would like to do, and there's things I hope I can do. And fish keeping events is one of those things that I hope we're able to do. Lisa and I would look forward to those events for months. I mean, it was something last year we did, I did Chicago. We were supposed to both do Chicago. That wasn't last year. That was the year before that. But, no, it is technically for the next few hours still 2020. So it was last year. I went to Chicago by myself, very upset. But we went to New Jersey together. We were looking forward to those things for a while, a long time. Because how do you describe this? We don't have memberships to any local clubs. Is it memberships? We don't belong to any local clubs. In fact, when we finally found a club that we wanted to join, everything got locked down immediately. It was like the weekend that the world came crashing down. You may remember it. It was back in, it was March. And that was when Corey was here. We went to that event up in Northern Virginia, and we were like, yay, we found a home, and then everything shut down. So we don't have those local events around us, the meetings and all that kind of stuff. So this is something that her and I do very much by ourselves. Our family or our community is you, and it's the other YouTubers. And that's all we've got when it comes to fish keeping. So we really look forward to going to those events because otherwise we don't get the chance to see these people that we like a lot, and we only get to see every once in a while on the computer. So it was a heartbreaker to not be able to go to any of those events. And not only to meet the other YouTubers, but to meet you. I like hearing you come up to us and tell us stories and stuff like that. Even the ones that think I'm Jason from Primetime. I know I talk about that all the time, but that did happen a few times. I love that. That's my favorite part about all of this. I love going to New Jersey. I just saw in the chat, because I made the mistake and looked over there. Somebody was asking what the events were. It was the Aquatic Experience, which was in New Jersey in the Meadowlands for 2 years. It was in Chicago before that. And then they not only didn't do the event because of 2020 being 2020, but they also had canceled out the event anyway. So it's not something you need to look into, because as far as I know, it's not something that we're ever going to see again. Someone would be smart to start their own show. Not now, but when the world goes back to normal, starting a show in the East Coast area, because we don't have any unless you're a saltwater person. But where was I going with that? I love meeting the people. And I know what I was about to say. In New Jersey, I loved being at the YouTube booth and looking over and seeing a line of people that are lined up to meet Corey McElroy. I got such a kick out of that. I thought that was so funny. Not funny, but it was inspiring. It was cool. It was awesome to see. Not funny at all. What was funny was when I stood in that line and waited. And the look on Corey's face when I got up to him, he was kind of like, "You've been over here like 25 times. Why did you just wait in that line?" Anyway, it was funny, but Lisa and I both waited in that line. I love that part. I love being able to meet up with other fish keepers, not because they treat me special, but just because it's the only time that I ever get to meet these people and get to see these people and the other YouTubers and stuff like that. So one of my biggest things that I'm hoping happens in 2021 is that we're able to do those again. I really don't know. I haven't talked to the Aquashella people. I don't know anybody with the Aquatic Experience. Like I said, I think that event is dead anyway. So I don't know. I don't know if any of these events are happening. And if they are they going to be like everybody's wearing masks and there's only a few people allowed in at a time? I don't know that I would go. It'd fly halfway across the country, sit on an airplane for 4 hours with the mask on, and to go into an event and not even really be able to be in there because, I don't know. And it's not the event's fault. They're going to do everything they can do to have it be the best event possible while also being safe to the people that go in there. But I just don't know. I don't know that that's something I could do. If it was down the road, yeah. If it was Fish Room Fever's event in Tennessee, which I think that event was going to be like 6 or 7 hours from us driving, that I could see happening. But I'm not going to fly to Chicago to not even be able to do what, you understand what I mean? I just wouldn't want to do that. But so I really hope that we're able to do that and do it unrestricted. I don't know if that's possible in 2021, but that's a big hope for me. We'll see what happens there. But the other thing, and again, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say it without sounding like a jerk. So should I even say it? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I'm going to try to say it the best way that I know how. Being a YouTuber is a blessing. It really is. I absolutely, every single day, ask Lisa. If she was here, she wouldn't be nodding her head saying, "Yep, he does. He does." I am always telling her, we need to recognize how lucky we are. And it's absolutely a fact. We are so lucky to be able to do what we do, to have this YouTube channel, to have a business attached to this YouTube channel that people order from us. And it's such a beautiful thing. So believe me, I don't have any complaints, but YouTube can be very isolating. Is that the right word? I was just talking to Lisa about this a little while ago. I'm lucky that I have her that I can talk to, but it's very difficult when you are a business that revolves around creating content for the internet and you do everything on your own. I have her, and you don't have an office full of people to turn to. You don't have a staff of people to turn to. It's very isolating. That's the only word I can use to describe it. And you'll hear that from a lot of other YouTubers. And again, this is why I would love to be able to get out there and see these other YouTubers. It doesn't matter who they are, whether they're, somebody with 200 subscribers or 200,000, it doesn't matter to me. Being able to speak with people that do what I do is a beautiful thing. This is another example of how this whole situation makes it even worse, because one of the things that has helped me in the past with not feeling so isolated is having people come here. Rack came here, Rack Cross, Corey came here. I mean, I'm sure if 2020 wasn't the way 2020 was, there would have been more people that have come here. We've got a few YouTubers that are 4 or 5 hours each way, either direction. We've got all the Pennsylvania people. We've got all the Tennessee people. I'm sure some of them would have maybe made the trip here and I would have gotten my fix. I wouldn't have felt so alone. I don't mean to sound that sounds pathetic. That sounds, Ike, that sounds terrible. Ike's with us here tonight. Mags is over there. I don't know what she's doing, but that sounded really bad. I don't mean to make it sound like a complaint, because it's certainly not. I love what I do, but it sure would be nice to have other people to talk about it with. You know what I mean? So the fact that we weren't able to do those events just made it made it hard. And it made me really miss being able to do that. It made me miss being able to go to the fish store and just talk to the people in the fish store for 2 hours. I don't remember the last time I did that. So I can't stress it enough. One of my biggest hopes is to be able to do those kind of things again in 2020. I really hope, I want to do this so bad that I would go to any event. I don't care what it is. There's a lot of smaller events. It doesn't have to be the big one. I would go to any of them just to be able to be around other fish keepers, and maybe even a bonus, being around other YouTubers that do YouTube videos about fish. That would be amazing. And that's probably the biggest thing that I have missed this year. And it's made it very lonely. That sounds so pathetic, but I hope you understand what I mean. I'm not a lonely person. I've got a house full of kids. I've got Lisa. We've got all these animals. I'm not a lonely guy, but when it comes to YouTube, yeah, I kind of am. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, but I'm really hoping that we're able to do something like that. And I would also, for that purpose and also really any other purpose, I'd really love to do some traveling this year. I really want to do that. We've been talking with, Extreme Fish Foods for one. We talked about going down there. And I'm like, well, if we're going to be in Homestead, then we might as well go to Florida Exotic Fish Sales, which is right down the street from Extreme. It's the brothers own the companies. There's Old World Exotics. There's Imperial Tropicals. There's all these, which I think Imperial Tropicals is quite a bit away. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of places down there. You go to Homestead, you can be around all of these places, and it would be wonderful. I think Lisa's favorite company in the whole wide world, Plant Arena, I think is in Florida. There's a lot of things to go to in Florida that aren't things with mouse ears on them. There's a lot of really cool things for what we do, and we wanted to do that. We had talked about in 2020 going down to Florida, spending 4 or 5 days down there, doing the different places, and then I think you can guess why we didn't end up doing that. So I'd really love to be able to do something like that. It's kind of like a vacation while also engaging in our hobby at the same time, which is really, really cool. We were down there. One of the biggest regrets I've ever had, but we went down there in 2000 and something. I don't remember when it was. I don't know if Lisa's in the chat. Was it 2000? I don't know when it was. Maybe 2015. We went down to the Florida Keys with my sister, and we went to Old World Exotics. I didn't get a second worth of footage. Ask me why. I don't know why. I mean, how I didn't, it just blows my mind. I guess it's because we were there. We were kind of in a hurry because it was my sister's trip. And so they were kind of doing us a favor by going there, and we wanted to see Leif DeMason. He's the owner of Old World Exotics, be able to see him and hang out with him and tour the farm. There just wasn't time to be like, okay, let me get this and let me set the microphones up. And it wasn't time to do all of that. It wasn't a dedicated trip to go down there, but there was that. The whole time we were down there, everything that I remember involves fish. When Lisa fell off, bless her, I hope she's not here right now listening because she's going to be mad at me. She rolled a kayak over in butt smooth water. I mean, butter smooth water. There wasn't a ripple in the water, and she somehow managed to roll her kayak over. And she panicked, even though the water was only like 3 feet deep. But she panicked. And I think I know how she flipped it over. I think I had said to her, hey, look, it's a stingray. And there was a stingray this big around. And I think she leaned over, being a novice to kayaks, which I also was a novice to kayaks at the time. She wasn't aware that if you lean too far on a kayak, you have doomed yourself. She went over, she was in the water, and completely panicked because she thought that the stingray was going to eat her. So I had to get over there and help get her up back onto her kayak. Even in 3 feet of water, kayaks are hard to get up into. So got to give her the benefit of the doubt there. But that involves fish. Another thing was when we went snorkeling and seeing all of the fish there, seeing sharks that are 18 feet away from me, and not like great whites, but like Nerf shark. Is it Nerf sharks? What is that shark? The brown one? They're pretty big, but they're not going to eat you. Or at least that one didn't want to eat anybody. But that was absolutely amazing. When we were waiting for the boat to go out for the snorkeling trip, they had tarpon that are there at these are wild fish that are there at the marina where the boat would end up. And they sold chum there to feed, not chum because it wasn't bait. It was, fish to feed to the tarpon. And it was awesome buying a bucket of these fish and throwing it in and just feeding the tarpon and watching idiots, watching morons get down there. And, they were always the dude with the barbed wire tattoo and the tank top and the hat on backwards. And they were putting their hands down there with the fish. And then the tarpons would come up and put their entire arm in their mouth. And they would sit there and it was like funny. And they would come up and their arm would be a little bit bloody. It's not like it was gnarly. And they would be like, oh yeah, high fives. And it was all, I liked watching those idiots do that, but I wasn't going to let the fish swallow my arm. Somebody, whether it was Lisa or myself or my sister, my brother-in-law, whoever, somebody got footage of that, and I don't know where that is. I wish I had it. But literally these tarpons, if you haven't seen tarpon, they're really, really big. They're like, I think they can get 8-9 feet long. I'm not sure. And there were some monsters. They would literally jump up because when you would throw food in, which were fish, dead fish, it was like a feeding frenzy, like you would expect throwing food into that tank or into an African cichlid tank. So be this like huge, just madness going on. But if you held the food there, they would aggressively go after the food, so much so that they would take your hand with it. And it's not like they would rip your hand off. It's not like they're, great white sharks, but it was enough to, a couple of those morons that fed their arm to the fish, they had a little skin breakage going on there, and I wasn't about to be a part of that. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that was like a 5-day vacation, and the And everything that I remember, it was a wonderful trip. We had a great time with my sister. We stayed in the place that they filmed the show Bloodline at. So we got to see all of the little filming locations and stuff like that. It was awesome. But some of the biggest memories of that trip were involving the fish. So taking a trip that also involves fish is a wonderful thing. This is with my actual life. I went to the Bahamas back in, I don't know, the early 2000s. And my only memory of going there was going to Nassau and going to the Atlantis and seeing the aquariums at the Atlantis. I'm sorry, I'm a shallow person. That's really my only memory of that trip. So a lot of times, things involving fish are the biggest memories for me for vacations. And it makes me really miss traveling so much. I miss it so much. And I want to be able to do that. I don't know that I would go as crazy as some of my friends, mainly Corey McElroy, have gone flying across all around the world. I don't know that I would do that because that's just far. But I would love to at least be able to travel our country and go to different places, go to these fish events. I really miss being able to do that. One of the things that I bought Lisa or us for Christmas is a weekend trip, which is the anniversary of the weekend that we met. We're going to Pennsylvania, Gettysburg. Her and I both love like Civil War places, and neither one of us have been to Gettysburg. I know. I mean, that's one of those places. If you're a Civil War person, you're not a fan of the Civil War because that's just weird, but you're somebody that enjoys researching Civil War. That's kind of one of the first places you would think that you would go, but we've never been there, neither one of us. So we're going to go there for a weekend, and don't even think for a second that I didn't spend some time on the old Google Maps checking to see if there are fish stores in that area. We're going to be there, so why wouldn't we go and see the fish stores while we're out there? I don't know. So as far as traveling goes, that's about all we have to look forward to at this moment. But I'm really hoping maybe after the summer or something like that, maybe there will be some of these fish keeping events. And I sure would like to go to all of them, all of the fish events. Decaf tea with stevia in it. Hey, it's good. So, on the topic of Florida exotic fish sales, who, if you don't know the story, Rick and Andy Biro started Florida exotic fish sales back in the 70s. I think it was 74 or something like that, which is when I was born. So that takes you back quite a way. Those two brothers started Florida exotic fish sales, which I think they called it something different back then. But they were one of the first, if not the very first, importer of African cichlids into the United States. And I got a call from them on Monday. It was either Monday or Tuesday. And they said, hey, we used to deal with them back when we had our store. We used to buy fish from them and then sell them on our website because they simply had the best fish. There's no other way of saying it. And they, I'm sure, still do. So we have a relationship with them. And of course, we have a relationship with Extreme. We sell them on our website. They were a sponsor for us for a while. I mean, we have a relationship with the Biro family. So it wasn't a surprise to get a call from them. But they said, hey, we watched your video about your new tank. We saw that you wanted to fill it full of yellow labs, and we want to send you those yellow labs. Oh, what a beautiful thing that was to hear. Not only because we can get them from one place, which I would be fully willing to pay for, and I was fully expecting to, get them all from one place, which means they came from the same tank or tub or wherever it is that they have them vault down there in Florida Exotic. But we get them all at the same time. That's critical. I didn't want to buy 10 from here, 20 from there, because I looked around online and there were a lot of places that they just didn't have the volume that I wanted. So I was going to have to buy 15 from this company and 20 from that company. That's fine, but I would rather not do that. I'd rather them all be the same size. I'd rather them all be from the same place. And that way, you know, you can get yellow labs from company A and they look completely different and behave completely different than yellow labs from company B. That doesn't mean either one of them are bad. It's just that they're very different. And so I like to be able to get them all from one place. That was one of the biggest reliefs there. I said, hey, if you want to send them, I ain't going to tell you no. So that's really, really exciting. It's not like we're going to be able to drive down there. I think it's like 18 hours to drive down there to pick them up. That's not going to happen. But they're going to send them on an airplane. The way they do it is airport to airport. So I'll take you with me to pick them up. When we go to the airport to pick them up, it'll be a lot of fun. I don't know when that's going to be because my plans for my 240 have changed. This will kind of tie in because it's going to be 2021 before this thing's done, because I don't think I'm going to have this tank done within the next 2.5 hours. But there's had to be a big change in plans with my 240. And I'm not very happy about it because I have to admit that I am a stupid person. And I'll be doing a video about this. And in that video, I will be expressing how stupid of a person I am. When I ordered this tank, 240 gallon, hopefully you watched the video. I saw a couple of people in the chat comment that they liked the park scene. Let me grab my dog. She's begging to come up in my lap. This is Mags, by the way. She's my little girl. I explained in that video that this tank is 72 inches long by 24 inches deep. And in aquarium terms, deep is front to back. Height is the measurement from bottom to top, or tall, whichever way you want to say it. The height of the tank doesn't really matter when it comes to what I'm about to talk about, but the footprint of the tank certainly does. 72 by 24. It's a good sized tank. And so my plan all along has been, I'm going to use a 75 gallon aquarium as my sump. And I plan on doing, again, there'll be a video all about this. I plan on doing a very minimalist sump system in that tank. For you people that are interested in DIY, but DIY intimidates you because it's so complicated and you can mess things up, I'm going to do a sump in this tank that is no-brainer type stuff. You don't have to have any kind of experience with plumbing or literally anybody could do what I want to do with this. Had it all planned out, and I was actually ready to go and buy the tank. And then I just had a thought. Will the 75 gallon tank fit under that 240? I mean, obviously it'll fit under the 72 inches in length and 24 inches depth. Of course it'll fit in that because 75s are what? There's 48 by 18, I think is what a 75 measures. But what I wasn't thinking was the doors. This cabinet has 3 doors, which means each one of those doors is approximately 22 or so inches wide. The cabinet that is holding this aquarium up has a face frame on it, just like your kitchen cabinets would. And then the doors are mounted onto that face frame. So the openings for the doors won't allow a 75 gallon tank to slide up underneath that. Can't do it. It won't fit. And no, before anybody says it, I absolutely will not take a 75 gallon tank apart and put it back together again. No, especially when I have another idea. And this is going to be an interesting idea, and it is going to be 100% totally unique to me. I don't know if anybody else has done this, but I started going back and forth like, okay, maybe I could go with a 55. They're only 12 inches deep. Maybe a 55 will slide in there. It's not what I wanted to do, but maybe that'll work. Nope, it won't fit. How do I know? Because I made aquariums, not the whole box, but I made the footprint of a 55-gallon aquarium out of cardboard. It's actually sitting right over there. And I tried to slide it in and nope, it won't make it. It won't make it in there. Now I'm a cabinet maker. I was a professional cabinet maker for a long, long time. I could take this thing apart but I'm not going to do that. When there's another way of doing it, what I'm going to do with this tank, and you're definitely going to want to take a look at the video when it comes out, should be a couple of weeks. I'm going to do 2 sumps. I'm going to do 2 29-gallon tanks that I'm going to use as 2 individual sumps in that tank. And I can do it because this tank has 2 drains and 2 returns, 1 for each tank. It's perfect. So is that not quite the same water volume? What's 29 times? That'd be 60. Yeah, 68. So 68 gallons versus 75. But I don't think that's going to be all that bad. Think about it. A 29-gallon tank, using it as a sump is probably going to have 15 gallons of water in it. So I'm going to have 30 gallons of water in these filters. I would be comfortable running an FX6 and an FX6 only on that tank. And those are smaller than a 5-gallon bucket. I don't know how much water an FX6 holds. How much water is in there doesn't matter. It's how much water you're moving and how much you're processing. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I got all caught up in this idea that it had to be a certain size. No, it doesn't. I mean, if you think about it, if you're moving the water enough and you're processing it enough, you could probably filter this entire tank off of just one 29-gallon tank. You probably could. I mean, I did one the same size with a 55 and it was perfectly fine. For years, for 7 years, that tank ran on a 55-gallon sump, and it was the same gallons but different footprint. So I could have done a 55, but that won't fit either. So anyway, more than a 55, little less than a 75. I think it's going to be interesting to be able to look in there and see 2 sumps. I'm not doing it to be fancy. I'm doing it because that's all that it would allow. So is it 58 gallon? 20? Yeah, it is 58 gallon. Yeah, thank you, Catwoman. I told you I'm a stupid person. Did I say 68? It's 58. So what? It's New Year's Eve. Who cares? But anyway, this sump system is, aside from the fact that it's going to be 2 tanks, it's going to be very minimal and very simple. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, be waiting for the video for that. It's going to be a lot of fun because I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about how stupid I am. Because I believe the folks at Custom Aquariums, in fact, I'm certain, they asked me, what are you going to use as a sump? Because, you're limited as far as space goes. And me being the dumb person that I am, I was just like, it's 6 feet by 2 feet underneath. I mean, I could sleep in there. There's plenty of room in there. But they were right all along. I should have listened to them. They didn't tell me a 75-gallon tank won't fit, but they were just concerned, like, what are you planning on doing? Because, once those doors are on there, the funny thing is I sold a tank to a guy that I'm sure he already has his, right around the same time as mine. And he was thinking about those things. And what he actually did was he got them to put another door on the side of his aquarium, on the side of the stand, not on the side of the aquarium. That would be weird. On the side of the stand, he actually had it customized to have a door on the side for this exact purpose so that he could slide the sump in from the side. And him and I went back and forth for days about this. Like, you should have it this big of opening, and then you can use this size sump. And we went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And the whole time, it never occurred to me that my plan for my tank wasn't going to work. So yeah, I feel like an idiot, but it's still going to work out. And it's going to be kind of unique, I guess, because I don't know anybody that's done 2 sumps. But I saw somebody commented, what about power outages? The way these work, there's very little water that drains down when the power goes out. Like in my 240 downstairs, which is the same exact tank, the configuration of the drains and the returns is exactly the same. When the power goes out down there, and it was going out a lot a couple of weeks ago when we were moving things around, we kept tripping the breaker. The tank drains down about that far, and the sump as a whole goes up by maybe an inch. It's not anything extreme. So I'm not worried about it flooding. And if it did flood, it's a garage. So who cares? All of my wires are up off the floor. First time in my life, I actually went through and zip tied all of my power cords and all that kind of stuff. So don't have that to worry about. The rugs would get wet, but it's a garage. It wouldn't hurt anything. But even having said that, I don't see that as being an issue. I think it'll be completely fine. We're going to have 30 gallons available to fill these 2 sumps if the power goes out. I did look into 40 gallon breeders. The problem there is they'll fit through the doors, but they won't fit lengthwise because they're 36 inches long. So the 29s are 30 inches long. So they'll fit as far as the length goes, and they're only 12 inches deep. So yeah, there won't be a problem there. If I can find tanks that are a little bit bigger, but only 30 inches long, then I might do that. I used to have a 65 gallon. What were the measurements of that tank? I think it was almost like the measurements of a 75, except just shorter. I think it was 18 inches deep, 18 or 20 inches tall, and 30 inches wide, I think. If I could find those, that would be awesome. And I would order 2 of those, but I don't know. Stay tuned and watch the video for that. I'm excited about that tank, and that leads me into what to do in 2021. Sorry, there's not much of 2020 left. There is a big thing for me for 2021 that I want to do. There is the whole YouTube thing, which I will get into, but as far as my aquarium hobby goes, I want to simplify things. That's the biggest thing that I want to do for 2021. I got a lot going through this head, and this head can only process so much at a time. And I want to keep things as minimalistic as possible. That doesn't mean I want to do like bare bone filtration systems and all. That's not what I mean. What I mean is I don't want a lot of fuss. I don't want a lot of muss. Is muss a word? No muss, no fuss? What's muss mean? I don't know, but it sounds good. I don't want to have to fiddle with these things all day long. This is technically it's a garage, but we're going to call it a studio. We've got these things that are going to serve as backdrops for videos. I want them to look good. They're going to serve as backdrops for this live stream. I want them to look good, and I want them to look good all the time. And if they're all fancy, like over the top aquascaped and all that, it's difficult to keep that stuff clean. It is. I mean, they're beautiful and they're gorgeous, but I ain't got time for all that. So I want to keep things simple and keep things minimal so that I can enjoy the fish more and not have to spend a lot of time on, I got to do this and I got to put this fancy thing in there and that fancy thing. I don't want to mess around with all that. I want to keep things simple so that I can enjoy what is the point to this whole thing. It's not a box full of water. It's the fish. I want to enjoy the fish more. The thumbnail for this live stream, I know it's silly, but I was sitting there. I mean, this really happened. I was sitting there and I was just staring into the tank, and the Oscar, the white Oscar, that guy right there, who's one of my favorite Oscars in the world. By the way, they're not pushing him around anymore. They've accepted each other. They're all friends now. Now watch them lip lock with him right after I said that. But that Oscar kept coming up to the glass at me. And I'm just sitting there looking at him, and he kept coming up to me. I love that. That's what I enjoy more than anything else. Not looking at that fancy tree log and not looking at the aquascapes and all that, which again, they're beautiful. But for me, I just want the fish. That doesn't mean all of my tanks are going to be barren, bare bone, bare bottom. No. But I want to decorate all of my tanks, which they already are this way. And I'm going to continue with the new 240, minimalistic, and the fish be the focal point. My biggest goal with fish keeping in 2021 is I want to enjoy the fish. I've spent so much of my time as a YouTuber, as a business owner, trying to be over the top and be fancy and have really intricate lights and all of this kind of stuff. And that's great. That stuff is all awesome. I'm not trying to say those are bad products, but when you spend all this time focusing on all of that stuff, you spend less time focusing on the fish. And I want to focus on the fish. I want to enjoy my fish more. I would have probably said last year I want to enjoy my aquariums more. I enjoy the aquariums. They're great. But I want to enjoy the fish more. And this is why I'm going to put 3 more Oscars in this tank. I love Oscars. I don't care if you don't love Oscars. I love them. I love those 2 Severums. I was going to put those 2 Severums. Everything's backwards. That's a Severum there. Not that one, but that one and that one. Gold Severums. Love them. I was going to take them out and put them in a 90, but I'm like, no, that's mean. That's like somebody moving from 20 acres down to a condo. I mean, some people choose to do that when they get older and they downsize, but you understand what I'm saying. That's mean. They're in 360 gallons right now. And to move them down to a tank that is a third that size, that's just mean. And a fourth that size, I don't want to do that. That's mean. 9, 18, 27. Yeah. So I'm going to keep them in there too. So the idea is to have 6 Oscars in there and the 2 Severums and the 2 Plecos. There might be people that see that and say, overstocked, those Oscars are huge. Come on. Maybe it looks that way, but this tank is 3 feet deep. They got plenty of room. Again, front to back, 3 feet. It's a big tank. 360 gallons is perfectly enough space for 8 fish. Come on. 8 Dovi? Maybe not. But 6 Oscars and 2 Severums, more than enough space. They're going to be fine. And I'm doing that because I want to enjoy the fish more. And there is probably no fish. I've said it a million times. My favorite fish are arowanas, and that's true. But my favorite fish to sit there and just watch and enjoy and interact with are Oscars. So like I said, I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy the fish more. That tank's going to have a whole bunch of Oscars in it. The yellow labs. Yes. One of my first thoughts was, how cool would that look? Blacked out, full of bright yellow fish. Of course, that makes a statement and that's awesome. But I also love yellow labs. How could you not love yellow labs? They're bright yellow. They're beautiful. They're not always wanting to kill each other like so many other African cichlids are. They're just beautiful. And having 40 or 50 of them in that tank is just madness. I mean, that's going to be unbelievable to just sit there and watch. It'll put you in a trance. I want to enjoy my fish more. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that is my goal for 2021. I keep wanting to say 2020 is to enjoy my fish more. Now, when it comes to YouTube, I keep seeing people. Okay, listen, hold on. I've seen a bunch of people in the chat ask, where are the arowanas? This is not my first time saying this. I am going to say it in a video because more people watch the videos than they do. Nope, sorry, Danny, you got it wrong. So many more people watch the edited videos than the live streams, so they'll see it then. But Danny, I wish that was the story. Danny Weish, I'm going to say is what your name is. That is not what happened. In fact, it was the opposite, and we did not adopt them away. I could have said that, and nobody would have known. I could have said, you know what, the arowanas, it just wasn't working out, and we rehomed them. If I wanted to save face, I could have done that. But no, the truth is the Oscars killed the arowanas. That's what happened. The last one was about, I guess, a month ago. The Oscars, those two right there, Lisa is really mad at them still to this day. She is mad at those two Oscars, the two originals. This guy here is the new one. And they were a little bit, they weren't nasty, but they were a little authoritative over him when I first put him in there. I call him him. I don't know if it's a male or a female. It's just like men all call their trucks girls. I don't know if that's a male or a female Oscar. One of these days, I want to find out. They were not so welcoming to him in the beginning when he first entered the tank. And so I was a little bit nervous because that's a gorgeous red Oscar. You'll see him in future videos. He's amazing. I was nervous, but they're leaving him alone now. Every once in a while, now here you go. See, this is what they were doing. Just kind of going up to him and just saying, hey, remember, it's my house, not yours. You're a guest here. That's basically what they're doing. They've never bit this fish. They've never taken any scales off. There's never been any damage or anything like that. He is an absolutely gorgeous fish. And I was having some fun the other day, color grading a video of him because I bought a new camera. We'll talk about that in a second. And I made him super dark red and it was really, really cool. But he is a gorgeous fish. I was worried, but they allowed it. They welcomed him in. And I'm going to have that same worry when I put the other 2 or 3 new ones in here. I don't know where they're going to come from yet. I've got to find them. They need to be at least that size. I want an albino red. He might look like an albino red, but that's an albino tiger. I don't know how he's showing up on camera, but it's an albino tiger. I want an albino red, and I want 2 lemons. If anybody knows anybody, my friend Scott from Pennsylvania, who I named my betta after, said he knew a guy, and then he hasn't said anything else to me. But if you know anybody that has those, let me know. But that's what happened to the arowanas. The Oscars murdered them. And it sucks, but it is what it is. And I decided because arowanas are the reason why I got the tank. We all know that. But I also got the tank for Oscars. That was my plan from the very beginning. Arowanas and Oscars. If you go all the way back when I first started talking about getting this tank, that was the plan all along. So when the arowanas were killed, I had a decision to make. Do I get rid of these Oscars and get more arowanas, or do I just get more Oscars? And I said, you know what? I love me some Oscars. And I've really been enjoying those 2 fish. Even though Lisa is mad at them, I love them, and they're awesome. And that, I don't care what anybody says, is one of the most beautiful albino tiger Oscars on earth. So I just decided, you know what? Let's just get more Oscars. So that's what's going to happen there. Again, I could have made something up, and no one would have ever known, because it's not like I have a YouTuber that lives down the street that would have, You know what I mean? Like, how would anybody have known if we just made up a story? But we decided not to do that, and we decided to tell you exactly what's going on. The arowanas died, and it sucks, and it broke my heart. But I decided not to try that again and just go with Oscars. So, last thing about what my plans are for 2021. This one's going to seem a little bit sappy here, folks. I hope that doesn't bother you. What was it? A month ago? A few weeks ago? I don't know. I had something happen that was awesome. And as a YouTuber, it is my favorite thing in the world, because as a YouTuber, I haven't looked at the numbers for quite some time, but I think the number is over 600 videos that I've done on my channel, and that Lisa and I have done. You have to understand how difficult it becomes coming up with something to talk about on YouTube. It's incredibly difficult when you've done that many, because what do you talk about that you haven't already talked about before? And I go in these waves where I'll get inspired somehow. And I don't remember what the last one, it may have been when Corey was here, because he has that influence on everyone. But I don't remember what the last one was that caused my last wave of inspiration. But this time it came from the most unlikely thing I've ever experienced in my life. I was watching a YouTube video again. Shocker. I know how shocking that is. I was watching a Vsauce video. Now, most of you watching this, how many do we have? 600 people watching. Most of you are going to know who Vsauce is, because he's an extraordinarily popular creator on this platform. But if you don't know who he is, I don't even know how to describe him, because I don't really watch his channel. Like, I don't. It's not because I don't like him. It's just, it's one of those that I just haven't really watched. But I did watch one of his videos, and it was about, what is it called? The Stanford prison experiment, I think is what his video was about. And I'm not even going to go into detail about it, but there was about, and I'm not kidding you here, about a 5-second clip of that video that changed everything for me. It just, when I saw this thing, and it was just a technique that he used while recording the video, or his cameraman used, I guess, because he's got millions of subscribers. He's probably got a staff, I'm sure. I'm sure he has a whole team of people recording, but it was just this small technique that I saw that I said, okay, now that's different. I've not done that, and I want to do that. And I immediately ran up to Lisa, who was in bed watching something on her phone, and I said, guess what? I'm getting ready to spend a bunch of money. And she, thankfully, from the very beginning, I don't know what I would have done without her, because there has never been a time that Lisa has ever argued with me about anything when it comes to spending money on YouTube and all of this. Even way back in the day when it was costing us money to make videos, she still supported it 100%. She knew how happy it made me. So even now, when I go to her and I say, I'm going to spend a little bit of money, and she was like, just do it. You don't need my permission. You're a grown man. And so I ended up, the amount of stuff that I've bought over the last couple of weeks is absolutely outrageous. But it all has to do with my goal for 2021. If you've ever heard me talk about YouTube, if you've ever heard me talk to Fishroom Fever had me on one time to talk about growing a YouTube channel and stuff like that. I have always maintained the same philosophy that I am always in pursuit of getting better. That's what I'm always working towards. Like putting little silly lights behind the tank to make the wall glow and make it look better for live streams. Otherwise, it would just be a gray, dull wall. I'm always trying to do those little things. I'm not going to ever become complacent. And when I saw that little thing from Vsauce, do you want to know what it was? He had the camera on a slider. If you don't know what a slider is, I got one right there. It's one of the things I bought. It's a mechanized sliding, I don't even know what you call it. The camera sits on rails and you have it to where you can either manually move the camera across. It allows the camera to go in a completely straight, perfectly smooth line. So there's no jittery, there's no jumping up and down. And then you can also get them that are motorized and you set it to where the camera just automatically moves and can stay focused in on one particular subject. That's what I saw on Vsauce. He was sitting, it was a scene very similar to this, where it is a talking head kind of a thing, but he just had the ever so subtle movement of the camera. And that's all it took for me. That inspired me. I started looking around all over the place. I just started completely obsessing over taking things up a level is what I want to do. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me inspired. And when I have this newfound inspiration, it kind of opens the door to new ideas. And all of a sudden the new video ideas and all of these new things start coming in, and it's the best. It's the best time as a YouTuber to have all of that inspiration and just feel like, oh, I can't wait to make videos. That's the best. And so my goal with YouTube for 2021 is to never lose that. And that's so hard. Oh, it's so hard. I don't ever lose that from a video not doing well. There was a day where doing a video unboxing of a 240-gallon aquarium would be the biggest video on YouTube that week. No, mine tanked. Maybe it's a bad thumbnail. I loved the thumbnail, but bad videos that don't perform as well as others, that doesn't bother me. Like, oh, I'm no good. I don't do good at this. Not having ideas for future videos bothers me. So that's the biggest struggle that I have, is coming up with new ideas. And so I'm going to be thinking a lot this year so that I can come up with ideas for videos. Lisa has a ton of video ideas. We're going to try to keep that going for 2021. And my hope is that this time, New Year's Eve, 2021 going into 2022, I'm saying the exact same things. I hope that I'm saying to you then, 2021 was the best year we've ever had, and we hope that we're going to do even better in 2022. That's what I'm hoping. That's my goal. I never, ever, ever want to become complacent when it comes to this job, because that's what it is. It is a job. It's a job that I love doing. It's a job that I would do for free. And for years, I did do it for free. But it is a job, and I want to continue getting better at my job and never stop. And I never want to become complacent. So, there you go. That's my goal for 2021. I talked about it last week. I did buy a new camera. It looks just like my old one, but no, it's new. It is, in case anyone is wondering, it is the Canon R6 full frame mirrorless camera. Yes, indeed. There's going to be a really funny thing about that camera on a video coming up. Is it Sunday? No, it's going to be Tuesday. I think that video is going to come up on Tuesday. So that's going to be fun. Looking forward to that. So anyway, thank you for letting me rant for the last hour and 10 minutes. That's been a lot of fun. That wasn't a rant. What am I talking about? Aren't rants like always negative. None of that was negative. Ramble would be the appropriate word. Thank you for letting me ramble for the last hour and 10 minutes. I've got to do some thank yous here real quick. Crystal Puckett, an hour before the stream started, became a new member. Welcome to the team. Matt Man B isn't here, so he's not going to get to hear me shout him out here. Happy New Year, death to 2020. Won't be on tonight. Love you guys. Yeah, sorry that you weren't able to join us. It surprises me that we got up to 600 people on New Year's Eve. Maybe last year, New Year's Eve would have been a lot more surprising. This year, I guess that's not a huge surprise because what are we all doing? I'm sure they're not even doing the Times Square thing. I don't know. Catwoman VA and Deborah Martin. Deborah Martin re-upped their membership. Welcome back to the team. Fish Tank Barn. Happy New Year. Champagne ice cream fund with a side salad. Yes, thank you, Mike. Not a lot of salads have been consumed by me over the last few weeks. Not that I'm not a salad eater. I do like salads. I've been a lot smarter with my choices. Salad's a smart choice if you're trying to lose weight and get better blood pressure. But not a lot of salads for some reason. I'm going to tell you right now, and y'all are going to laugh at me, but unless you try one, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you can't try one right now. The Southwest salad from McDonald's is one of the best things I've ever eaten. And it makes me so mad that I am not able to get them right now because they haven't sold salads since like March, which is such a bummer. Sean Pilk, what kind of lighting is on your Oscar tank? Those lights are 6 years old. They are Coralife lights. Coralife LEDs. I did a video about them. Go back 5 or 6 years. Go way back and you'll see I did a video about them. I've always loved those lights. You can see I have the white turned down, not all the way down, but I do like that really blue look in the live streams. I like it either really blue or super bright. And I can never get that one to show super bright while on video or on live streams like this. I don't know why. If it's a camera setting, I don't know. I don't know what it is. So I like that look a lot because it really pops the fish. But these lights are awesome. I absolutely love them. And I love them so much that I've been using them for 5 or 6 years. There's 4 48-inch lights on that tank. And if I'm being honest, it's probably not enough. It's enough for me personally, but if I wanted to get that really super bright look, I don't know that they would do it. I think I would need to go with the fluvels on there to get it to be as bright as, I don't know. But I just love how blue they are. They're actually saltwater reef lights, which is why there's so much blue in them. But I like that. So Matthew Nahaney, he did it again. Nahaney. Matthew, why do you do this to me every week? And he's laughing at me. That's what he did. He sent a laughing emoji because he knew that I was going to struggle. Unfortunately, it was an hour and 15 minutes ago when he sent that in. Luke Billington, Happy New Year, John and Lisa. Happy New Year to you too, my friend. It's going to be a real good thing to say goodbye to 2020. Real good thing. Melissa Jeswald, Happy New Year. Goal, refining guppy / Endler breeding. Maybe sell a few. Want some guppies? I can hook you up. I don't know that we have anywhere to put guppies at the moment. We got plenty of tanks, but one of the things we haven't really talked about, Lisa actually downsized quite a bit. We're going to show her tanks Tuesday. Again, the Tuesday video, we're going to be giving you a tour of the beta room. The beta room. And you'll see that where I used to have those 2 racks of 6 10-gallon tanks on each side, it's down to 1 now. And we moved the 75 over. So we got bettas everywhere around the room. It's really nice looking in there. I'm really proud of how well Lisa put that together. You'll get to see that next week, Tuesday. We haven't shot it yet, so hopefully nothing goes wrong. But yeah, you'll get to see that. So she doesn't have the 12 10-gallon tanks like she used to have. She's down to 6, and they're all very full right now. So I don't know that we would have any room for your guppies, but I sure do love me some guppies and endlers. Christine, you're not doing it to me again this week. Pooped on me at 9:08, and she did it because she just knows I struggle with the names. Danny, I know he put it in the chat because I saw it. He clarified the way he pronounces his last name. I said Weish before. I think he said it like Weishi or something like that. I'm sorry, Danny. Welcome to the team, but I say names very poorly, unfortunately. Furloughs Aquatics, I had to peel myself away from the video game Man-Eater. I've been playing it for 2 days straight. Anyway, Happy New Year, John and Lisa. Man-Eater. I only know that as a Hall & Oates song. I'll have to check that out. I'm still completely obsessed with Days Gone. The kids make fun of me. I play Days Gone every day. I'm going through the story mode, I believe, for the 4th time. And it's like a 40 or 50 hour playthrough. It's not like it's the 4th time this week. I'm saying I've had it for a while, and I think I'm going through it for the 4th time. I just love that game. There's something about zombies and motorcycles and machine guns, Molotov cocktails. I don't know. I like that game a lot. But I might check that one out. Elizabeth Welch, our Episto died today. That's a shame. It was our son's favorite fish, which was a huge bummer. Do you have any suggestions for a centerpiece fish in a 29-gallon tank with Emperor Tetras? A lemon bristlenose pleco. That would work, certainly. She put this in here at 9:13. There ain't no way she's still here. That's the unfortunate thing about waiting till the end to do this. But I'm almost always going to go Angels in a 29 because I do believe that is like the minimum size. Me personally, I believe minimum of a 29 for Angels. I just adore Angels. I absolutely love them. And you got them in there with Emperor Tetras. They'd be perfectly fine with that. That's where I would go. Couple of Angels, you can't go wrong. That's a beautiful tank. And sorry to hear about your Episto. That is the worst when it's a child's fish because they don't understand and they're like, Mommy, what did you do? And that's a bummer. Fishy pet keeping. You guys are my favorite YouTubers. Wow. That is a tremendous compliment. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad we were able to do that for you. Whatever we've done. Remco Camphius with the $10 backwards E. Again, is that pounds? This is always a struggle for me, and I don't know what to tell you. And nothing attached to it. Just that money. Thank you. That is very appreciated. Daniel Jeffries sent some sunglasses with 99 cents attached to it. Gotta love that. Stephen LeBlanc with the Canadian $2. I made trickle down sump for African 135. Works well. Mine's going to be even simpler than that. You're going to have to tune in to see what I'm talking about. My sump system on that 240 is going to be as simple as they go. And I'm going to tell you why in that video. I'm going to talk about it extensively. You know the way I run my mouth. It's going to happen. So don't worry. There will be an explanation why. And it's going to be a very easy explanation why. But I have done the trickle down sump. They work very well. They're very loud though. At least the ones that I've made. So that is a no-no for me in here. Christine did it to me again. To a better year for all of us. Happy New Year to you and your family. You too, right back at you. Become a huge supporter of this channel. Thank you so much. And Happy New Year to you too. Nicole Josh, treats for the pups. They got spoiled for Christmas. Our 18-year-old bought tons and tons of treats for the dogs, which was a beautiful thing because Lisa didn't buy anything for the dogs this year. They usually have stockings, but not this year. Let's see, where were we? Fish out of water. My missus bought me a Vax for Christmas after hearing Lisa suggest it in a vid and me overflowing my 230-gallon Oscar tank. Thanks. Vax? A Vax. I don't know what that is. So Lisa suggested it. Was it a shop vac? Is that what you're saying? A Vax? Because of the overflowing? I'm going to assume that that's what you mean. Yes. Every fish keeper should have a shop vac. Even one of the smaller ones that can suck up water, because if you're a fish keeper, you will find a day, whether you overflow the tanks yourself, like I've done and Lisa's done multiple times in the last couple of years, or your tank blows up. If you're a fish keeper, you're going to need to clean up water very rapidly at some point in your fish keeping career. So having a shop vac, I'm assuming that's what you got for Christmas. Best Christmas present for a man, aside from like a Dodge Ram TRX. I don't think you can get, or maybe the new Corvette. For me, the best gift I could ever get would be a white on black Ram TRX. There's no better gift than that. So that's the best gift ever. And then would be the Corvette. And then as a shop vac. Shop vacs, you can't go wrong. If you have a man that you're buying a gift for, doesn't have to be your husband, boyfriend, father, husband, whoever, cousin. If you don't know what to buy them, get them a shop vac, because you can't have too many of them. And they're just awesome. You can go out and clean up your leaves in your yard with a shop vac. I mean, it's just the best. Jose Fernandez, my good friend bobblehead man. Lisa and I's bobbleheads are over there. I kind of want a little shelf to put there under the YouTube plaque to put the two bobbleheads, because I do want them to be in the live stream. They just mean so much to me. So you might see them down the road. But $50 on New Year's Eve, Jose, good grief. Thank you so much for that. As if you haven't done enough for us already. That is very, very kind of you, my friend. Thank you so much. And thank you again for the bobbleheads. I'll never stop thanking you for that, because they're in my collection of, it's probably 100 now, bobbleheads. And I love them. Not 100 bobbleheads of me, but the baseball ones. And a couple hockeys and one basketball. And that's it. Baseball, 3 hockeys, and 1 basketball. Anyway. Jason C. twice came in with unicorns, which is adorable, 3 times. Did you keep pushing the button thinking that it wasn't going through and you did that on accident? Because I've done that before. Hopefully you didn't do that on accident, but thank you very much for that. Xanadu pooped on us. Xanadu doo-dooed on us. That's what you wanted to hear me say, isn't it? Xanadu doo-dooed on us. Wait a minute. I feel like I missed something here. No, I guess I didn't. Okay. Jeff Rose, look at him making an appearance. Happy New Year, John and Lisa. Love you both. Look forward to seeing you in 2021. Love Jeff Rose Fish Keeping. Dude, we want to see you back regularly making videos. Maybe you are again and I just don't know. Shame on me. But we want to see you back again. With the beard and all, you're half the man you used to be. I didn't mean that in that way. I mean, you got yourself all in shape now and you're looking good. We need to see you back in the videos again. And hopefully at a fish keeping event like I did in 2019 when I saw you in Chicago. Hopefully we get to see you again. And hopefully Lisa gets to see you this time. HEPA Aquatics with nothing attached to it. Just take my $13.99 Canadian donation. Just take it. Here's my money. I'll never understand that. I swear, wasn't there... I guess I'm dreaming. I swear, wasn't there another $50 one? Or maybe my brain just isn't working. I thought I saw a red oval there early on, but I don't see it anymore. Did I miss that? It's not possible to have missed that. Or did it disappear? They don't disappear. I don't know. That confuses me. But maybe I'm wrong. Listen, I'm glad I thought of that. Okay, let me get to this. Whips World, Happy New Year to you and Lisa. I missed the start of the show, but I hope Lisa is well and not ringing in 2021 on a sick bed. Oh, bringing in. No, she's not sick. It just wasn't going to happen tonight. That's the best excuse that I can give. And Regina Phalanges, Happy New Year. I've heard other YouTubers say that name. That's why but when I think of Phalange, I automatically think of Phoebe from Friends. Is that your name, or is that somehow attached to Phoebe from Friends? And I love how it's a 2021 donation. That's clever. I love that. That's awesome. Let me tell you something, folks. Shame on me, because I do not remember the person's name, and I feel bad about that. But did you see? Oh, just one $50 one. Okay, thank you, Candy. For some reason, I felt like I saw one up there earlier, and it's okay if one was there and disappeared or whatever. Somebody changed their mind. I don't know that you can. I don't know that you can do that. But anyway, I was almost in tears on Monday when Bob Steenfott did his live stream. First of all, I commend him for being able to do it. Bob's the one I was talking about last week, folks, when I said that a friend and fellow YouTuber had a rough week. That's who I was talking about, but I didn't want to put it out there because he hadn't put it out there on a grand scale yet. He had said it to channel members, of which I am one, and that was all that he had announced it to. But he had a rough week, and I was surprised to see him even do a live stream. And he had somebody, and shame on me, I wish I could remember their name. If anybody in here knows the name, put it in the chat, because this person donated, and please don't do this to me. Please don't. I don't want you to. But this person super chatted $500 to Bob, which was amazing because, like I said, Bob's going through a rough time right now, and none of it's his fault. It is a series of unfortunate events that have put him into a tough position. And he explained all of that on his stream. If you are not aware of what that was, or all the details, watch his stream from Monday. Somebody feel free to share it in the chat. But he explained all of that, and he's got to find a new place to live, and he's got a whole situation going. And so to see him, he had to take a break a couple times because he was kind of choking up during the stream. To see somebody take that much money out of their pocket and donate it to somebody, a YouTuber, oh, that was powerful to see. And I commend whoever it was that did that. That was absolutely amazing. And it made me think, you know what, 2020 wasn't that bad after all when you got good people like that taking care of another person it's in a rough spot, and it's not going to be their fault. It's not their fault. So whoever you are, bravo to you. I don't care who you are. If you're LeBron James, $500 is a lot of money. And that is impressive that somebody was able to do that. Stephen P. 2003 followed up with a 2021 super chat. That is so cool. Mind blown. Never even thought of that. Thank you so much, Stephen. And Jojo Cook with $5. I'll be getting a 75 here in a few weeks to replace the 45 that leaked all over my living room floor. Can't wait to do it with the 75 gallons of water. Yeah, sucks that 45 gallons went all over your floor. You don't think 45 gallons is all that much, but that's a lot of water to be on your living room floor. Sucks that happened to you, but it's really cool that you're getting a 75, one of the best size tanks in the hobby. So love some 75s. All right. That's it, folks. That's it for me tonight. This one has been a struggle because I feel like I've just talked about myself all night, and that's weird, but what better way to bring in 2021 than to just talk about everything that you hope 2021 will be. So thank you for riding with me on that. Let's all go over to Fisher and Fever's live stream. He's streaming now, which is very cool because he's going to be live when 2021 happens. So that's pretty neat. So why don't you all go over there and hang out with him, and we'll all bring in 2021 together. I'll be over there in a little bit. I got to take a little bit of a break and all of that, but I will be over there in a little bit. Let's all go hang out over there. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next week. Sunday video and Tuesday video. They're going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try some new things with the kind of intro to those videos. So don't forget to watch those, and everyone have a happy and safe New Year. I'll see you next week.